Sunday of May. And as you know, May is Mother's Month. At least here in South Africa, May is considered Mother's Month. And so I want to end this Mother's Month the way I started it. You will recall at the beginning of the month, the second Sunday of the month, which is Mother's Day, I came and I did not read from my book. I did not read and reflect from Alone Book One. I shared some aspect of being a mother, and I shared my three pregnancies and how my pregnancies, the three pregnancies that brought three children, impacted the children. You can go and watch that video. It is somewhere here reflected in this video if you missed that. And so I want to close the month on the same theme. And today I want to talk, because it's not Mother's Day and we are not in the lovey-dovey, we are not giving mothers flowers and taking them to lunches and massages. I thought perhaps let me close this month with the topic that's very, very relevant right now, that I feel if we can remove the fear out of it, the fear out of the wording of it, because it doesn't actually help that it's called the mother wound. The moment people hear mother wound, they get very scared. I mean, certainly I did. The first time I heard of a thing called mother wound, some years back, around 8, 9 years ago, it also terrified me. So I wanted to sort of introduce this idea to you and taking it very, very slowly, because motherhood is it's a huge subject that cannot be completed here in less than 20 minutes, because I do want to stick to the less than 20 minutes here on these videos. I'm still a very new YouTuber and I don't want to do hours long. I do that with my students on Patreon, but here I want to stick to the time frame that I believe works for everybody. And when times goes on, I can do longer videos. But also, this topic is so deep that you really don't want to rush it. You want to be gentle with it because, like I said, it is sensitive, it is scary, and it is sacred in a way, because when you're talking about the mother, when we're talking about the mother energy or the mother archetype, and we are talking about something huge. First of all, we are sitting in her planet. The planet that we are in right now is a mother, our real mother. If you go deeper in these teachings and in these healings, you also will find that there's another mother, the bigger mother, which is the moon, which we'll get into as we continue here on the Lebukule channel. Speaking of the Lebukule channel, in case you just stumbled upon this video and you just saw a pretty face talking, my name is Lebukule. I am a memoirist. I have written two books, both titled Alone, with different subtitles: Alone, Growing Up in Alexandra, and Alone, From Hustling to Healing. I am also a life coach and a teacher. I have a space where I do deep dive teachings on many, many aspects, including the archetypes, shadow work, and a whole host of things on Patreon. For you to join Patreon, you can join as a free member. It's simply Patreon stroke or slash Lempule's work, Patreon slash Lempule's work, and you can just join there. There's a ton of content. There's over 186 pieces of teachings, audio, video, and text. Okay, so mother wound as a subject, it's a subject that I teach, but I don't teach it on video yet. I teach it live. Over the years, I have hosted about 3 mother wound teachings at different venues, and then they all leave people with more, with wanting more. So going forward, I'm going to try and create rather retreats. Retreat is something that I do as well, but I'm going to try and create retreats specifically dealing with healing the mother wound, because healing the mother wound is something that has to be physical. You have to get it out of the body, It doesn't just require you watching a video and listening and going, It's visceral, it's embodied, because the mother wound lives in your body. So in the video that I spoke of, where I spoke about my 3 pregnancies and I also spoke about my mother, I share how everything that the mother, and this is not something new for you. I'm sure you've heard this before. When a woman is pregnant, everything she feels, she senses, she experiences goes straight to the baby, which is why doctors will always say when you're pregnant, avoid certain foods, avoid certain drinks, avoid certain sugars, avoid certain things because it affects the child. Well, even your psyche, even your emotional body, even how you're feeling, even the things that you're experiencing that you may not even know that you're experiencing them, the child feels. That is how deep and how bonded a mother and a baby is. Now, the second thing is that the mother is the first person. It's the first. I mean, it is also said that babies don't know that they are separate from the mother. They don't know that they're two different entities until about a year old. I stand corrected. I could be wrong. But until around the time that they become independent, like they start crawling or walking, then they see that, oh, there's me and there's mom. All along, they thought they were one. So a mother wound, therefore, is is the wound of all wounds. I always say to my students that if there's a gaping mother wound, because we have them at different levels, which obviously we get to in workshops, we have them at different levels. But if it's a gaping wound, it's going to debilitate almost everything that you do in your life. It is the wound to heal. And also equally, once you heal the mother wound, nothing can touch you. Nothing can touch you. So it's a very, very big one. And I know that for a lot of people, the whole thing of mother wound seems like it's a new thing, it's a new vibe, or it's a new trend. It's not. It's old. We're just discovering it now. I discovered the teachings of a mother wound about 7, 8 years ago, and it scared me for a while because I was like, huh, mother wound, because it just terrifies you. The word itself terrifies you. But that is the best way to actually describe it. So when your hurt comes from their mother, whether directly or indirectly, that happened through pregnancy, or it doesn't matter. It is the wound that you want to heal because it will impact on almost all aspects of your life, particularly in your relationships, particularly if you are a daughter. Mother wound with the sons finds expression differently, and mother wound with the daughters finds expression differently. You see why this is a big, big topic. Now, because I want to bring you in nice and steady and just see how you feel about this, I know that we do diaries of a memoirist here, but I'm also a coach. So I'm wearing a coach and teacher hat today. And, I'm experimenting with this YouTube space and seeing what can I bring. So this one felt relevant as we are closing the month, like I said. So what do I want to share briefly? Because I'm not going to get into the subject. I'm just going to help you. Just going to touch on a few things to entice you and to get you thinking around what we're talking about when we're talking about this thing called the mother wound. So maybe let's start with what is a mother. I've just explained how big an archetype it is. A mother is a life giver. So all life on earth is brought forth by mothers, which means the mother is your first love. The mother is your first love. And a pain that's inflicted by a mother becomes the main pain. If you're hit by a mom, yeah, it's okay. No one else can hit you. No one else can hit you more than your mother. And this is why, because mother is your first love, this is why no matter how your mother is, no matter how cruel or mean or whatever the mother is, you still love your mother and you still want the love from your mother because that is the ultimate love. That is your person. That is where life literally comes from. And obviously, life comes from God and from the universe and from a higher place. But here on earth, in the body, love comes from mom. So a mother is, and as you know, I mean, in society, a mother is central to the home. I think this is why no matter how poor a mother is, or no matter how poor a household is, a mother is going to make a plan that the children are fed, the children are clothed, no matter how meager and how small the meal is, which I believe is why a single household, a single mother home thrives more than a single father. And I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all single father households where a father is raising their children and they come out really, really well. There is a big part of a mother energy, of a feminine energy that exists in that man. And by that, I don't mean, I'm not talking sexual orientation. I'm not talking homosexual or gay or anything. I'm just talking energies here. But single mother homes thrive better than, or there's more of them than the other way around because a mother can handle a lot of things. Not all, not everything. There are roles that men play that bring out a child. That's why you need two. That's why you need both. But the point I'm making here is that a mother can hold a home together because a mother takes care of the kids. At a certain age, a father needs to intervene, but we'll talk about that some other time. So a mother is a big archetype. Therefore, being hurt by the mother becomes a serious, serious thing. So how does a mother hurt you? Or rather, let's talk about what exactly is a mother wound. It's multi-layered, which is why we want to take it nice and slow. Mother wound is multi-layered. Mother wound is at a different level. It's all the traumas, all the hate, all the problems, all the issues that your mother never dealt with in her life. And it gets passed on to you, especially girls. So that's one level of the mother wound. That's one level of the mother wound. Example. And I'm going to use an example of a very, very famous person because this is a person who spoke about this. And I think it's just the best example to show, to make a point, to bring this point home of everything that you've never healed from, every trauma you've experienced, everything that the mother never really dealt with. The mother just opened the drawer and put it there, gets passed on to the daughter. Example, Mama Ian Van Zandt likes to share the story. She did not know her mother because her mother died at 2. She was 2 years old when her mother died. And then later on in life, Iyanla becomes this young woman who is drawn to married men. No matter what she does, no matter where she is, the person she falls in love with, ultimately she discovers that this is a married man. So she's living this life of being a mistress. As she starts her healing journey and so on, she finds that her mother was a mistress almost all her life. Which means that patterning, in fact, Mama Iyanla calls it's a pathology of some sort. That whole patterning of being drawn to men who are not available, because the married man is just not available. I mean, he's married to someone else. Unless he's a polygamist and it's clear that you are going to be a second wife, this is an unavailable person. And Iyanla did not have to know that mother, did not have to even witness it, did not even have to see her mother do that for her to repeat the pattern. She had to repeat the pattern. So that is an element of a mother wound. So that's the first layer or the deep layer. Maybe let me say it's a deep layer of mother wounding where a pattern that you don't have to witness, you don't have to see, you could be in different places for all I know. Your mother could have died, as in the case of Mama Iyanla, and yet you continue that pattern that was passed down from you. And Iyanla's mother probably picked it up from the grandmother, which I think I suspect that it is true. And ganjalo, ganjalo. So that's layer one of mother wounding, the patterns and the pathologies that we pass on that we have not dealt with, or the cases, generational cases. The second layer, before you ask how do you heal that, we'll get there. We'll get there because that's an interesting one. The second layer of a mother wound is the enacted one, where your mother was actively unavailable, a cold mother, a mean mother, the mothers who beat up children, a mother who brutalized you, a mother who was not available, a mother who was absolutely cold, a mother who revered other people than you, the mothers who like to honor boyfriends or men and ignoring the children, a mother who was unmothered herself, a mother who wanted to be your best friend. I had a client whose mother made her the friend, who at a very, very young age, she would hear big, big issues, big stories from the mother. A mother would cry on her shoulder, a mother would tell her stories of the father. Yeah, completely inappropriate. That scars a child. That will scar you, that will create a mother wound in you. Those are the two main layers. And within those layers, there are sub layers. So layer one is the pattern, the pathological patterning that's in your blood, in your bones, in your DNA. And the second layer is the actual physical, the way the mother was as a human being towards you, how strict she was, how mean she was, how enabling she was, how uncaring she was, how this, how that. There's also obviously the positive side, I mean, I spoke of how my mom was a nurturer, but my mom, much as she was a nurturer, she was also not a disciplinarian. My mom allowed a lot. There was a lot of freedom that was not necessary. I read somewhere, or I heard somewhere that I think it was Brene Brown, Dr. Brene Brown, saying that children need boundaries, children need no. So we sort of did not have that at home. And I will cover when we continue reading about why I say this. It's in chapter 4. So that also brings about its own wounding. So the mother wounding have layers and they have degrees. So with us, or at least with me, let me not speak for my siblings, in reflection, it would have been nice to have her a little stricter, a little more clearer as to where do the rules start and where do the rules stop. For an example, I never had um, I would push a lot of boundaries, would push a lot of boundaries. And in reflection, I'm thinking probably in my childhood, in my child mind, I wanted to hear a no. And it wasn't also forthcoming from my dad for his own reasons. So stuff like that create some form of wound. Because, as a child, no is might frustrate you, but no can be love. And then you get the opposite of my mom, where there was just strictness, just no emotion, no warmth, nothing. It was just rules, rules, rules. No, 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 no. That also creates a different kind of wound. So mother wound is not about you and your mother today, that you get along and all that. Mother wound is just how your pattern, what are your deepest issues, and can you link them back to your childhood and the mother? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes we don't all have a mother wound, or rather, we don't all have a deep, deep mother wound. How then do you heal a mother wound? How, and the the thing is, I'm speaking like this, and I know that there is so, so much. This is why, Jesus, this subject needs time and care and space, and just someone who's ready to just listen and deal with it. And it also requires a back and forth, where we're listening to each other. So to conclude, though, today's installment, because this is like a taste, it's not even anything. I mean, I feel like I've done it such injustice, but it's okay. It's a video, it's done. So how do you heal the mother wound? There are many ways to heal a mother wound. It starts with awareness. What you cannot do, which is what people think that's what we want you to do. What you cannot do, especially when you are not ready, is to confront your mother and say, yeah, there was something, so you treated me like this, from that place of anger. That's not going to help either you or your mom. If anything, it's going to get her to disappear even further, especially mothers of our generation, if you still have a mother. You heal the mother wound within you. So, for an example, the mother that you wish you had, like when you look at your mother and you wish that she was like this and this and this and that call, the reason you even have that sense and that feeling, it's on you. It means that's what you need to be. That's how you transcend it. You need to be the mother that you wish you had, not only for your own children, because you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but Lebu and I don't have children. No, not for your own children, for you, for your inner child. So there's a process called reparenting, which we'll get to, especially if you join Patreon. So you want to be that mother to all those neglected aspects of yourself, or those hurt aspects of yourself, or whatever it is that you feel your mother wound is. The thing that you wish your mother was, you become that thing for yourself. And it's a process on its own. Hence, in a workshop, then we start unpacking it depending on what is happening. Okay. So I hope this was a great taste, or it got you thinking, got your juices. Please comment if you can. If you can't comment here, if it's too public here, we can always just comment on Patreon. But it would be nice to see some comments here on YouTube. And while you are at it, before you comment, can you like and subscribe, please? It's getting there. The views are great. The views are great, but I would like to see some subscribers. Help me get to 100 subscribers so we can get this channel going. Like I said to you at some point, that there's so, so much that I have. It's not just reading from the books. The reading from the book was just my way of starting the channel, because I didn't know where to start, honestly. I didn't know how to even go about it. But it just opened up a way. And I will keep bringing the teachings also outside the book when I feel like there's an important topic, or it's like next month is Youth Month. There's a lot that I want to share about the youth and so on. But the reading will continue because, that's the series we are on. Okay, this is my story, guys. I cannot wait to hear yours.